So
Okay.
before we get into the actual benching, I want to talk about adomamatics. And if you would write that on the board, Linda, it can be fairly large. We won't be writing too many other things on the page. Adomamatics. And what is adomamatics? Well, it's kind of like adomonomics. That was my take on economics. This is Adamus mathematics. And if you would write that underneath, Adamus mathematics. You know, I have my own take on things you probably recognized. And here I want to talk a little bit about mathematics, not in very complex terms, actually pretty simple terms, but thank you. That's adomamatics. Adamus mathematics. And on the next page, Linda, if you would please, you'll be up there for a little bit, so stay put. But on the next page, we're going to be talking today about the nature of zero.
Nature of hero?
The nature of zero.
The nature
Not
of zero.
hero, but zero. The nature of zero. And here we go. My coffee, Caudra's cream in the coffee, and we're set to go. Thank you, dear Carrie. Thank you.
The nature of zero.
The nature of zero. Most of you are familiar with zero. You know, zero has not been a part of mathematics for really not that long. I would say barely over about 500 years. So humanity has gone all this time with no zero. And finally somebody discovered zero. Isn't it kind of interesting that it all has to do with consciousness? Things aren't discovered till consciousness is ready, even though they're sitting right there in front of you. It's the same with the Atlanteans, really didn't see the stars. Barely really perceived the sun and the moon. They knew it was there, but the stars, it wasn't even in their consciousness. Same with zero. It just wasn't in consciousness until, I would say, actually about 800 years ago. And then it was just a great big theory, and it was subject to a lot of debate. There were a lot of people that said zero, there is no zero. It has to start somewhere. Others said zero is actually really not a number, which actually it's really not. It's not really a number, but it's the 0 point. It's the beginning point. Feel into zero for a moment. And Linda, would you draw just a big zero right there underneath the written word zero? Feel into zero for a moment. It's a fascinating non-number, but it's associated with mathematics. Zero. And that's where we're going with this art of benching, to zero, back to zero. Let me explain it a little bit more, Linda, on the board, please.
Okay.
Just when she thinks she's getting a rest. And if you would draw in the center of the page, maybe approximately 6 inches tall, a zero. A nice round zero. There you go. Good. And then if you would to the right side, extending out a +1, +2, +3, just going from left to right off the side, like off the east part of the zero. +1, +2, +3, +4, and so on and so forth. Off the left side of the zero, the west side, -1, -2, -3, -4, so on and so forth. And then on the north, or the top of the zero, a little caret going up. Caret 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going up. Just a little, yeah, like that. Good. And then underneath, the caret going down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is real simple Adamus mathematics. Can't even say that. So, and now, Linda, to top it all off, would you put a dot in the middle of that zero? A dot. That's the 0 point. That's you, essentially. And every number on that board that Linda has drawn, every number represents an experience or an aspect or a reality. Now, the fact is, most humans, they have a very linear kind of I would say, like a left to right reality base. Mathematics are generally based on this here. And you can combine these numbers, or add them, subtract them, divide them, whatever you want to do. You can multiply them. You can combine them to create an experience. You can take a 1 and a 3 and put it together, and you got 4, and you can put a 4 and a 10 together and 14 and divide that by 7, whatever you want to do. But this is symbolic of kind of the nature of reality. This could also be your past lives. Perhaps you would place that on the left side of the 0. Your past lives, all lined up. Past experiences is really what they are. And then I had Linda draw the numbers on the top and the bottom, extending up and down, because the reality and even mathematics doesn't just go in a linear format, either left to right or right to left. The reality is also all around. And if you really wanted to be accurate in this example, there would be numbers placed all around the board. So Linda just randomly put numbers anywhere you want, anywhere on the board,
Any order
except in
whatsoever?
the 0.
With what?
Any number, anywhere you want. It doesn't need anything in front of it, but except don't put it inside the 0, but anywhere you want.
Okay.
So basically, this says that every number or combination of numbers is a experience or a reality. You can have experiences independent of being locked into a reality form. You can go off and have an experience, which oftentimes you do at night in your dream state. You can go off and have an experience and it's not locked into a reality like this human, very linear reality that we have right now. Ultimately, it all comes back to 0, back to the center, which oddly enough now looks like a circumpunt, or the symbol for consciousness. You go out and have all these experiences, these combination of numbers. Most of the time, as I said, the humans, they stay in this realm. If you just underline that, Linda, to indicate most, and put an arrow at the right end of it. Most humans look at life very linearly, and they incarnate back along that same linear line. They combine the numbers in a variety of different ways. And again, the numbers simply represent experience, or it could be an aspect or lifetime, but they start combining the numbers, and the numbers could go into the billions and trillions and whatever. They can get very, very complex, and then you have all the different ways of dividing or calculating with the numbers. It's the same way of saying in your life, you're picking energy. In this case on the board, it's numbers. You're picking energies, combining them, merging them together to create your experiences. But at the basis of all this is 0, which actually is not a number. It's simply a starting point. What humans don't generally do, and excuse me, I'm having to walk around Belle here because she's very, very comfortable and feeling very safe in our location. But what humans don't do is experience in these other realities. They stay on this level. It's comfortable, it's safe, they're used to the physical reality. But you could be going up and down. This could be your past lives that you could be experiencing right now if you chose to, but generally not. You're focused on this. You could be out here just scattered all around, having an experience independent of a specific reality. And the point of all this is ultimately you always go back to 0. 0 is not really 0. It's just a beginning point. 0 is not a number that you combine with other numbers. 0 is not a number that you use to divide other numbers. It's a placeholder in a way. It's a beginning point of experience. And the reason why I bring this up at this Shoud today, and the importance of it, is that's what we're doing. We're going back to 0. It doesn't mean we're starting all over, because you've had all these other experiences that are kind of shown on the board, but all these other experiences. But now we come back to zero. Zero is not filled with any numbers per se, but zero now has a tremendous amount of wisdom. And zero, now coming back to that as a starting place, you now realize you don't have to have a new experience, you don't have to get back on the linear human, the +1, +2, +3, +4. You can choose whatever you want, and you can experience it however you want. You can do it in a variety of different realms if you want.
Dê sua contribuição consciente. Se chegou até aqui, inscreva-se, dê seu like, compartilhe, comente e obrigado por nos assistir.